Well, welcome into Cross Christian Fellowship, and we are looking at fasting. Remember, Jesus said when you fast, not if you fast. So he kind of expected that. It isn't a command in the New Testament. It's a principle from the Old Testament, and it goes back to the Mosaic Law, but also in a sense to the dietary law, right? Because it concerns eating. There's a promise that God made in the Old Testament about if you conduct yourself in the way God commanded you to, especially in eating, there was something that he was going to do for you. And so we want to look at that and then look at the health benefits of fasting. Deuteronomy 7:15. And the Lord will take away from you all sickness and will afflict you with none of the terrible diseases of Egypt which you have known, but will lay them on all those who hate you. Those people who, were in Egypt, right? So the Egyptians, and we now know very much what their diet was. Pretty amazing information because they preserved so many of themselves with mummification that we can get hair samples and skin samples and in some cases even organs because they were sealed in jars, triple sealed. So they're withered away and like raisins, but you still have the tissues there. Bone, and then depicted what on their pictographs and their literature what they ate. And we know that they didn't eat mostly what the Israelis were commanded to eat, right? And which meant that they ate it was called the beer and bread diet by one of the investigators, nutritionists, scientists who was looking back at that. There was been like 4 different teams that have looked into this. The Jews that were eating the meat and sheep and fish and were eating the sprouted grains and many of these things, but they also were fasting for a full 18 to 24 hours once a week. And this is something that it's got amazing benefits to this. Aside from eating God's menu, just the idea of fasting, it gives you so much benefits. Now, let's go into some of those things. Number one, when you fast, it just generally speaking, it gives your system a rest, right? Because your GI tract, your stomach, your intestines, your liver, your pancreas, your gallbladder, your kidney, everything that's going along with this in digesting this food, normally for Americans and much of the world, is going 24/7, right? Because it's just digesting food after food, after breakfast, after dinner, after the snacks, after the evening snacks, after even if you're drinking something like coffee and you put some cream in it, that's all got to be digested. And so that digestive tract never gets a break. And so if you have ulcers in there, other things going on, and you're just dumping more and more acid in there, high contents. Now, yes, there's acid always in your stomach, but it will dump in a ton of acid. It becomes very acidic. Your stomach lining is constantly repairing and doing that. If it could become a little bit more alkaline, get a rest, it can heal so many things in your body. Also, one of the main instruments of digestion, which we don't think about, is your liver. It's got to process a lot of the carbohydrates, the fats. If it gets behind schedule, it just can't process this well enough. The fatty acids, the triglycerides will go into your bloodstream. Not good, right? Also, it'll deposit fat even in your liver. And so whether you're a drinker or not, there's this new problem in America with this non-alcoholic fatty liver. You know what they found out? That if you had a couple-day fast, you can almost completely remove the fats from your liver. Well, depending on how bad it is, if it's extreme, circumstance, it's going to take a little bit more. But somebody who's just developing this fatty liver or has a mild case of it, they found that you can reduce it significantly by 1 or 2 days of fasting. And if you have a regular schedule of fasting, that you will completely eliminate the problematic fat in your liver. Pretty amazing. Your liver does so much. It's like the miracle super worker organ in your body. And so it's powerful when you can free the liver, right? We should get t-shirts, free the liver, fast for a day. But it's powerful medicine, man. And this, because your liver metabolizes things like the fats and the carbohydrates and other things, when it's working at an optimal level, the rest of your body works, right, at an optimal level. So this will, if you start developing fat in your pancreas and then it's damaging the B cells or the A cells in there, that might be releasing that insulin, regulating the insulin, that will cause our blood sugar to go up. Fasting is another benefit of that, so that your body maintains proper sugar balance, in your body. This is powerful because one of the things it helps do is restore your body. When you are eating a lot, you're using a lot of energy in your body to actually digest food, to gain energy, right? You're using a lot of fluids, especially a lot of H2O, a lot of water when you're digesting things. And oftentimes we become dehydrated, where you can drink a lot of water, but it takes time for it to go into the cells. And so if you're fasting, I recommend you do a little bit of, just drink water with maybe a little bit of lemon juice, maybe some apple cider vinegar, and you can maybe even mix the two. A little bit of non-caloric sweetener, natural sweetener, like a little bit of stevia, maybe a little bit of monk fruit, this type of thing that doesn't add any calories. There's no caloric addition with this. And you drink that, maybe a tab of salt in there, and it doesn't sound good, but it actually is very good. It's kind of like a spicy lemonade, it's kind of like a kickstart lemonade type of thing. It can be pretty good. But that'll allow your cells to rehydrate. They're not fighting for these fluids. It also allows your toxins to be washed out of your body. Because when you fast, you'll notice if you don't fast very often, you do it every now and then, you'll get this white film on your tongue, you'll get this bad taste in your mouth. That's the toxins coming out of your body. This, if you're fasting on a regular basis, your body pulls this out and gets rid of it on a regular basis. And it's one of the reasons why you got to drink a lot of water, because that'll help your body eliminate all this going out. Now, let me tell you about autophagy. When you're fasting, your body goes from anabolic to catabolic. So it goes from building, storing, putting away fat, and doing that to pulling out fat for using for energy, right? But don't fast to lose weight. It's not a good idea. Fast for health and for spiritual acuity, right? Your body will pull out the fat. It'll also begin to look for things that it can recycle. So when you've been fasting for more than 8 hours, usually at the 10 to 12 hour mark, somewhere around there, autophagy starts happening. And autophagy is where the body goes into recycling mode. That's right. It starts taking cells, proteins, things in your body that aren't functioning right, and it throws it in the recycling bin. And then your body goes through it and begins to, seriously, begins to eat it and tear it down, break it down to its basic protein. If it can use those amino acids and reform proteins, it does. If it can't, it acts like a toxin and it kicks it out of your body and begins to renew those cells and replace them because now it's not having to store and do everything else. Now it's like in spring cleaning mode is what your body goes into. And the longer you can give your body in that state, so if you can push yourself to do your 14, 16, 18, really do your 24-hour fast, and you get 10 hours, 8 hours of autophagy, man, you've kick-started your body. The other thing they found, and there's so much going on here that I can't cover this information all in one video. I can't. We do have a health class at ccfcollege.com that you can get all this information and more. But one of the impact things that they found is when autophagy kicks in, you now have a surge in human growth hormone, natural, not synthetic, that people are popping or injecting themselves with. And you get a new surge of T cells, which are your magic cells that can be used in so many ways in your body, from immuno protection. So it's part of your immune system. So fasting on a regular basis boosts your immune system. Human growth hormone helps you to take these T cells and use them in places that are going to be best utilized by the body for repair of damages, including like things like joints and cartilage, which rarely gets a chance to build back up. And frankly, what they found, and this is, I think, groundbreaking, is they found certain cancers in your body get recycled when you are fasting. Yeah, autophagy goes in there and destroys them. All cancers, no, they don't know, what kind of cancers. They haven't pinned it down, but they're doing a lot of research, very promising, that these things don't apply. Now think about what God said. When you're obeying me, and he's talking, this is in context especially of his dietary laws and his Levitical laws, right? If we're fasting on a regular basis, that we are recycling our body, we are giving ourselves doses of human growth hormone. It's kind of like the youth drug. People are paying a lot of money for that in Hollywood, right? Hey, just fast. And God says, I'll re-energize your system for that. And for your T cells, for your immunity to come up, and possibly even promising things that it is at least attacking cancer, if not, in some cases, destroying cancer cells completely. Very promising, very exciting. And so as we go through this and we see there's so many benefits. I could go on for an hour and a half. But guess what? God said that his ways are above our ways. He's the designer of our body. We still don't know. We've cracked the human genome and we still don't know so much about the body. Trust God. Follow him, because his work, his power, his promises are pure and true and full of hope. So, hey, try fasting 1 day a week. Take one meal, build up to 2 meals, build up to where you can go a whole day, and build up to where you can do it on a regular basis. And you'll see some major benefits in your body, including longevity. Promises a long life. We didn't even get to that promise. All right? So, but I promise you more Word of God to come next week. And then if you follow God's Word, you'll be blessed. Until then, God bless you.